From manufacturing plants to store shelves, the new frontier of weight loss has officially arrived in pill form.
Imagine not having to refrigerate it, not having to inject it. You just simply swallow it as a regular pill.
Just 2 weeks since FDA approval, the first customers are starting to pick up the appetite-suppressing Wegovy pill. The drug's starter dose now available with a prescription at more than 70,000 U.S. pharmacies such as CVS and Costco and some telehealth providers, with the higher doses of the once-daily pill available by the end of the week, according to drug maker Novo Nordisk.
There is a ton of interest in a pill version of a GLP-1.
Dr. Shauna Levy says patients have been asking about it for months.
How big of a deal is it to have a needle-free option?
I think people are much more comfortable with a pill. It's much more approachable.
The pill has shown comparable results to Wegovy's injectable counterpart and similar side effects such as nausea and vomiting.
I actually felt a pretty big difference in the first few days.
Chris Mertens participated in the pill's clinical trial and says he lost 40 pounds over a year and a half.
I was able to do a lot more activities with my kids. I was able to have a lot more energy at work.
Rival Eli Lilly is expected to gain FDA approval possibly this spring for its pill, which doesn't have as strict of timing and dietary restrictions as Wegovy.
Oral Wegovy needs to be taken on an empty stomach 30 minutes before eating any food or drink.
Drug makers have been fighting for the crown of an industry that analysts say could be worth $100 billion by the 2030s. There are already signs the popular weight loss meds are reshaping how consumers spend their money on food, and some brands are rushing to keep up, prioritizing protein and smaller portion sizes. A recent study finding within 6 months of starting a GLP-1, households reduced spending at fast food restaurants and coffee shops by nearly 8%. Just one of the drug's far-reaching impacts as Americans begin a new rush to shed unwanted pounds.
And in recent years, Novo Nordisk has struggled with supply shortages after launching the injection in the U.S. But this time around, the company says they are confident they can meet supply needs with the pill. Time will tell, guys.
All right, Emily, thank you. For more perspective, we're joined now by Dr. Roshini Raj, a gastroenterologist and associate professor of medicine at NYU Langone Health. Dr. Raj, good morning to you.
Good morning, Doc.
I mean, injectables, we've been talking about it, have already essentially transformed obesity treatment. Why is this oral pill such a game changer, in your opinion?
Well, just as you said, already the injectables were a huge game changer when they came out, and it really changed the way we thought about obesity as a disease as opposed to something that's had to do with willpower and all that. Now think of that effect tenfold, right? Because a lot of people don't want to take injections. They either, just find it uncomfortable. There's a supply issue with refrigeration and all these things. The pill is going to be so much more accessible for so many reasons. It's a daily pill. You take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. It's just much more palatable, and I think we're going to see numbers skyrocket. Already, we just heard about 1 in 10 Americans are on it, and more have actually tried it. Now we're going to see those numbers really increase.
Sure. And the pills are cheaper, too.
Exactly. Cost has been a huge issue for people with the injectables. These are going to be at least 50% less, probably more.
Dr. Raj, I mean, the ads almost seem omnipresent now. You can't watch anything without seeing an ad for one of these drugs. Celebrities are talking about them.
Right.
It seems as if it's gone mainstream pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But the reality is, not everyone should be on these drugs. Who should not be taking them? And how concerned are you as a doctor about people misusing them?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be even more of a potential for misuse now that it's so easy to take. Yeah. It's still a prescription drug. There's a reason why certain drugs are prescription. They have potentially serious side effects. They can interact with other medications. So you still need to get a prescription from your doctor. There are telehealth companies where you can get it as well. But there are, pancreatitis, gallbladder issues that can happen with this. And it's right now still indicated for people who are obese or overweight with an overweight-related condition, things like, heart disease, diabetes, things of that nature, sleep apnea. So you really want to make sure you're doing it for the right reason. It's still not a casual, I want to lose a few pounds before a wedding kind of thing. It's meant to be a long-term drug. And I will say that's another thing that the pill, I think, will help with sticking to it. Because with the injectables, over half of people who start the injectables don't continue it. I think we're going to see much better compliance with an oral medication.
Doc, you never hear about any the adjunctive behavior that has to come along with these pills. It's like a magic pill. You just take it and you're good. But we don't hear about meal planning and or exercise?
I think it's such a great point because, you know, when they quote the figures about how much weight you're going to lose, if you don't do anything other than taking the pill, you will lose some, but not as much as if you stick to a good exercise plan, a good diet plan, really, you know, all of those things work together. So it's not just a magic thing. You need to really stick to the healthy lifestyle, but it's very helpful to stick to that when you're not having those hunger cravings all the time.
And if you're watching this morning, what's the first thing you do if you want to get on the Wegovy pill?
I would talk to your doctor. I think it's preferable to speak to your doctor who knows you and knows your history. Again, there are telehealth companies where you can do it, but I always prefer, you know, someone who knows all of your medical conditions from before and whether it's going to be the safe and appropriate option for you.
Solid information this morning, Dr. Raj.
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you.
Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.